Now we're recording. I always record. So if you missed last week, today we are talking about the next step in business ownership. I'm going to share my screen here in a little bit, but we talked about the 5 necessities of going from basically establishing yourself as being an amazing agent and all the different levels that you have to go through to actually become a business owner, and then hopefully become a product of the product, which is investing in real estate and making your money work for you. So those levels are employee, which none of us are employees anymore. We've made the jump to what's called the S quadrant, which we talked about was the self-employed quadrant. Now, everyone thinks when they're first getting into real estate, they're a business owner. And we talked about, we put that myth aside last week. That is a myth. When you first get into real estate, you're taxed like a business owner. And legally, you might be a business owner, but you actually just own a job. So our goal, my goal, likely whoever's team you're on or your own goal for yourself is master the real estate game, make money, and start to build systems and start to build other people perhaps. That's when that you get out of that S quadrant, you go into the B quadrant, which is business owner, right? You master the game, right? Then you go to business ownership and then you start building a new skill set, and then you can learn to invest in real estate. That's not our topic today. I'm just recapping for those of you who may not have been here last week. So let me share my screen with you real quick. And let's go back and just review really quickly the 5 necessities of mastering really, oops, I'm pulling it myself here. There we go. Okay, so the 5 necessities of really beginning to establish yourself as mastering the real estate game so that you can, as quickly as humanly possible, get out of owning a job and get into owning a business, something that's sellable, something that can turn into a legacy. That's why I got into this business. Nobody got into this business to just own a job. No, but we do have to master that level before we can move on. And these are the things. How do I know this? I've coached hundreds of agents, and 97% of the time, all of them, and y'all, I'm even talking the top people in the United States, were still people who were making well over $1 million GCI, came to me for coaching for one of these things. This is not just for people who are new. This is for anyone in real estate. This is what it takes. Let me make sure. I think I had somebody come into the room. This is what it takes, though, to be successful. And can you all see my screen? Yes. Okay. Let me get some things in the chat. Can you see my screen? It says I'm sharing. Okay. Perfect. Okay. This is what it takes. Now, there are other skill sets and there are other things that you can layer in, but this is what it comes down to. This is the foundation. All right. You have to have leads, you have to have systems, you have to have value add. And then what holds it all together, you can have all the leads, you can have a value add, you can have systems. If you do not have conversion and you do not utilize all of these with consistency, you will have nothing. You will have burnout. You will have frustration. Y'all, some of these people came to me for coaching, making over $1 million in GCI because they were miserable. And I'm like, well, how are your systems? Some people are successful because they just work harder than everybody else. And like, who wants to live that way? You need systems. You also need a value add, right? Okay. Which if you don't know what that is, we are going to cover that. All right. We're going to cover that. So at the end of the day, though, what holds it all together is conversion and consistency. If you don't have that, it all falls apart. Period. End of story. Now, you can make money with bits and pieces of these, but you will not have a true business that works like a well-oiled machine, like a wheel, right? That moves you forward without all of these. So today we're going to talk about a lead stack. And my next graphic is a little rudimentary because I didn't get to get it over to my graphics designer. He made this pretty for me. And I didn't get to get him my very rudimentary chart over before we were ready to go. So let me pull up the chart. Is it right here? No. Okay, no, it's here somewhere. It was here. Okay, so essentially we're going to talk about how to stack leads. All right. And what does that mean? Let me stop the share. What does that mean? I run into so many agents that are frustrated. They're like, my SOI won't use me. And that's the only thing I've been working on. Guys, you can take every single person that you know, even if you are popular or you're super social or whatever, and it's a 6-month to 20-year buying cycle, 30 years sometimes before people buy or sell. If you are just working your SOI, now look, that's a great thing. And you need to keep pushing into that, pressing into that, and working that, but you have got to differentiate. And I know a lot of people don't differentiate because they're scared to differentiate, because they don't like making the phone calls. They don't like trying to convert bad leads. Now, guys, there are some leads that are a little bit better than others, but I'm just going to be honest with you. Every time I hear an agent complain that so-and-so gave them bad leads, blah, 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 it's because you're not good at conversion yet. Okay, I built a multiple 6-figure income every year at the age of 27 with a newborn, and didn't really know a whole lot about real estate because I can convert cold traffic. And anyone can learn it. It's just conversion, okay? And it was all online leads, all right? So that's not to prop myself up. I lived this. I still live this. I still make phone calls to people that don't know me, don't like me, and actually hate my guts, right? And I can take them from hate my guts to feeling comfortable to liking me, trusting me, and then feeling like I'm an expert that they need to work with. And anyone can do that. It's a skill set, okay? So you've got to differentiate your lead into different stacks, okay? So I'm going to break this down. I have my screen ready to go. So let me share my screen. I'm going to break this down into the different types of leads that there are, because we need to understand this stuff, okay? We really need to seek to understand this stuff at a higher level than just, let me try this lead gen, let me try that lead gen. Because if you have a system where there is a pattern, where there is a system, you can learn it. Like, it's just that simple. All right. It's just that simple. And so I love to break down things into systems. So we're going to talk about different types of leads. And feel free to ask questions in the comments. I do have to switch back and forth from like a million screens. Sometimes I'm like a ninja back here behind the scenes. But I will totally answer your questions. Or if you just have comments or, engage with me, I love that. It really helps me. Okay, so we're going to talk about the different types of lead gen that there are and why you need to diversify. And I'm going to give you guys some good companies to reach out to. I want you to be able to go find leads today. Okay. And start getting some of these put into play for you and your business. Now, so here's the different types. We have inbound leads, and we're going to talk about the differentiation of what that means. And we have outbound leads, and then we have attraction. I love attraction marketing. I am obsessed with it. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but let's talk about the two most typical ones that I see that also are extremely easy to implement. So inbound, what's inbound? All right, that's really more like you have been reaching out to your SOI. You've been going to nurture relationships. You've been throwing events and somebody sends you a lead. Can we all agree that those are the air quote best leads? They're the best because they're the easiest, right? Because they already like, know, and trust you. I'm going to ask you a question that's going to pinprick you just a little bit today, but that's what I'm here for. It's to challenge you and make you think outside of the box, okay? Some of you are really easy to like, know, and trust because you're outgoing. Others of us, like me, it is still so hard for me to pick up the phone and do those cold calls because I'm a closet introvert. I'm not shy, but after a while, people really wear me out. And it is actually, I've had literally developed a skill set as an introvert to not ever feel like I have to be the entertainment or that I have to talk all the time. I've mastered getting people to talk to me, right? And that's what you can do with this kind of thing. All right. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So there's inbound leads. They are warm. for the most part. So if you look down this chart, inbound leads, POC means point of contact. That's where you kind of start to differentiate what is a cold lead, what is a warm lead at the point of contact where I'm actually talking to them, whether on the phone or in person. Do they like Know Trust Me or do they not like Know Trust Me yet? Do I have to earn that? Where your skill set comes in is learning how to earn it. That is what will make you or break you as a bad IES or not. Now look, you can make a lot of money with your SOI, but you can grow exponentially faster if you are hitting inbound, outbound, and attraction marketing. Exponentially faster. Okay. So at the point of contact with inbound leads, they're the easiest. They like, know, trust you most of the time. Okay. They're almost always warm. It could be from mom group or dad fishing hangouts, like all the things. Okay. They're comfortable with you. Most of the time. Now I have cold on here. Sometimes they are cold because I'm going to talk about referral programs. And those are a very thin thread of like, no trust. You still have to kind of build that relationship. But again, that's where that skill set comes in. That anyone can master, even introverts. Okay. So point of contact, most of the time they're warm. Sometimes they're cold with these paid referral programs, which I'm going to hand you some of those that I use today. And then you have, that's your SOI. I also love live transfer services. Have you guys ever used a live transfer service? Do I have like a show of hands? Live transfer services, anybody? This would be like Opcity, Ojo. Sometimes I have a service that actually books me listing appointments. Okay, yes. So Serena, yes. So you've used those before? Okay. Okay, so Dusty hasn't yet. Serena, it's looking like you have. Serena, do you have a question or do you, were you just agreeing? Yes, I have used this before. Let me know. If so, put the question in the chat and I will totally follow up on it. Okay. I love live transfers. Why? Guys, most of the time it takes 12 to 15 attempts to contact a person and then another 12 to 15 attempts to convert that person. Okay. Oh yes, she's used. Awesome. Okay. And so with a live transfer, that is a golden opportunity. And I'm going to harp on this again, little pinprick here. If you don't like those leads, now look, recently I had a conversation with my top producer. She was like, I think the leads on this, they're getting harder to convert. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And I was like, but it's still a great source of extra income. We close anywhere from, I don't know, probably 10 to 15 extra transactions a year, sometimes 20 with just one of our lead services. And that's just extra. Okay. That's like live transfer services. Okay. It all comes down to you. Are you following up with these people? Are you able to break down those walls and convert them? It all comes down to you. I don't care if you think the leads are bad. You only think they're bad because they're not easy. And I love you. And that's why I say that. So we have to work on our skill set. All right. But live transfers are great. I'm going to give you guys a list of people to look up to see if they serve your area. Sometimes they won't serve your area. Don't panic. Start Googling and look for other people that do. Okay. If you're in a major city, most of the things that I'm going to tell you about are in your city or they're coming to your city, or there's probably other services in your city. And if you're in rural, sometimes they are there as well. Okay. Okay, then we have the paid referrals. So I have some paid referral programs that I'm happy to use because I convert. I can convert. I'm confident in that conversion ability. Okay. And so I am happy to pay for referrals. All right. Now some, I will write this down or I will put this in a chat. Okay. What these companies are. And again, don't panic if they're not in your area. Go find people that are. All right. We have to be resourceful. That's who we are. It's in our DNA as entrepreneurs. Okay. So I use Ojo. They're not my favorite. And no, I don't get paid from these guys. But I do get some deals here and there. That's OJO. All right. Now, some of these you do have to have closed some transactions before you can get into them. So if you cannot qualify for it, talk to your team lead. Talk to your broker. Okay. They can. That's how I got my team leads on multiple of these platforms. Is I qualify, and a couple of my top producers qualify, and all the newbies got to tap into the resource as well. Okay, so Ojo, Opcity, y'all, if you don't like Opcity, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not because the leads are bad. My stats on Opcity, I'm going to tell you, you got to work, people. We got to work. I'm going to look. Okay, and this is just numbers, so you can kind of see how it works. It's a live transfer service. You log into your app and it's speed to lead. So you got to win them. I'm trying to look here. Okay. So on here, I have 10 active referrals. I have released 140 leads, but that's 140 conversations I had to have to find the gold. Okay. And then I've closed 20 something transactions. Okay. So who wants to close an extra 20 transactions? We all do. We all do. We all want to close an extra 20 transactions. Okay. So exactly. Yes. So I love it. And yes, you pay referral fees, but I don't care, because every single one of these funnels right back into your SOI. Once you have closed a lead, they become your SOI, and go get 10 more people from them. And then after you get those 10 more people, get 10 more people from each of those people, 10 times 10 people. Do we see the exponential growth here? Who cares about a daggum referral fee? If that's how you think, you're not thinking like a business owner, because business owners have to invest. It's pay to play, baby, right? So let's all get on board here. Okay. Ojo, Opcity. I like Referral Exchange Prime. I have 4 new listings and 1 buyer under contract from Referral Exchange Prime. I've done it for 4 weeks. Hello. Okay. And several other people who are being qualified. That's pretty freaking awesome. So Referral Exchange Prime is a good one. And then, y'all, there are some people, little like celebrities like Dave Ramsey. And I think Robert Kiyosaki might have one. You can get leads from them. You do pay for that. There's like some sort of upfront fee, and you pay referral fees, but I'm not sure what those are, but look into it. Deal Lander. I like this company because it is listings only, and they actually send you a recording of the conversation they have had with the client. They're cold calling for you. Okay. And then sold.com. I love that one. I'm actually buying a house from a lead that was sent to me from sold.com. It's worth $340. I'm getting it for $160. Like, what the hey, people? Good stuff right there. Okay. Sold.com. Okay. And you always have to make sure you pay your referral fee. So I'm paying myself as an agent. So be aware of that. Okay. So that's some of the inbound. Do you recognize the difference? They're coming to you. They somewhat like, know, trust you. It's your SOI. They like, know, trust you a lot. Live transfer. They've been introduced to you loosely. Okay. But it ultimately is one of the sectors you need to have in your business. And it's going to feel like the easiest to convert. Okay. And a lot of people stay in their comfort zone and that's all that they work, but you're really missing out on exponential, faster growth. So the second one is what I like to call outbound. Now, the leads are being delivered to you, but you have to go get them. They are not going to pick up the phone and call you. So it's a lot of outbound work, but it is very worth it because, again, every single person that you convert becomes SOI. Okay. It becomes your sphere, and they become that like, no, trust. And then it becomes a multiplication game of exponential growth. Okay. So I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it today. So this would be something like, now look, if you're reaching out to people, I wanted to differentiate this. This is pretty much cold traffic. They do not like, know, and trust you. They clicked on a listing. They randomly Google you on Zillow or whatever. Okay. You have to win them over. Okay. Another example would be cold calling, online lead gen. So if you're doing Facebook ads, that are especially property oriented, they know nothing about you. Okay. And it could be somebody up at 4 a.m. thinking that it's a house for rent. Okay. And so it's a lot of work. But what I would say too is on this outbound, this is how I built my career. This is how I became good at conversion. I couldn't stay in my comfort zone. I was 25 years old. Okay. I'm telling my age here. I was 25 years old. I knew absolutely nothing about real estate, and absolutely no one in my sphere wanted to use me because I had previously been a professional ballet dancer and ballroom dancer. And also I wasn't allowed to contact students after I left my studio. So it was like a fraternization policy we had. So I had nothing to go on or build off of, not even really any skill outside of conversion and hard work ethic. So I learned how to do outbound. Okay. And that's where I became to master conversion. And it will lie outside of most of your comfort zones, but it is a tremendous, especially if you combine it with systems. Okay. It is a tremendous way to build your lead pipeline. It is, in fact, critical for it. Okay. So this would be cold calling for sale by owners. You're going to flex that muscle, man. You're going to build some serious sales skills, also online stuff, whether it's KV Core ads, posting in Facebook groups, Craigslist, whatever it is, those are going to be considered outbound because you're going to have to go after those leads. Okay. Now, I also would like to point out, I feel like open houses are somewhere between inbound and outbound. I put them in outbound because it gives you the opportunity to warm up that lead, but you are going to have to nurture, follow up. Now, I've got a couple people who host open houses at my listings. They are masters of converting people at open houses. And actually, I'm showing a buyer today that I converted 2 weeks ago to an open house. I still do open houses. Do the work. Okay. So it does give you the opportunity to get that a little bit warmed up. Now, attraction marketing is my very favorite of all. Okay. What I love about attraction marketing is it uses a niche. It could be you're going after veterans, seniors, the Spanish speaking community. You could be going after anything, millennials, Gen Z, whatever it is that you're going after. You can really build video systems, nurture systems. These are things like your YouTube channels, your funnels that are you teaching people about XYZ in real estate. You are attracting people. Think of the internet, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. They're a megaphone. You can be everywhere in the entire world in just a few clicks of a button. And some people are terrified of doing this. But y'all, there is a gentleman that I know personally who is a regular guy. Okay. Good dude. Awesome. Doesn't have the most charisma in the world. And we've talked about this, and I won't say his name, but we've talked about this. I'm really proud of him. Okay. Who literally went from getting like 10 views on all of his videos to now like close to 3,000. He just did it. Okay. And if you're like, oh, content, this, not the other, I actually have a partner that I can happily send to you to help you build these systems out, shoot your videos, all the content, post is whatever. Okay. We can help you do this. But this is a beautiful, beautiful ecosystem because you are speaking to an audience that finds you in the megaphone of the internet world, and they are attracted to you and your content and what you're saying. And what's fantastic is it warms them up to you, mostly through video and expertise, advice, whatever it is you're sharing, tours, local expertise, whatever it is. It warms them up to you, and they like, know, trust you, and they call you. They contact you. It could be a year, 2, 3 years that they're watching your content, and they call you pretty much when they're ready to rock and roll. This is my very favorite. Okay. This is the YouTube funnels, webinars, Facebook ads that actually are you. Okay. With maybe some webinars and things like that. And if you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do those things again, I have a great partner I can send you to and help you with that. So video and systems really help you nurture that lead to get them to that point of picking up the phone to contact you, and they reach out to you as opposed to you having to reach out to them. Is this helpful for kind of systematizing or understanding different types of lead gen and how you need all of them to be successful? Okay, awesome. I'm getting yeses. So I will put in the Facebook chat all the different companies that I mentioned that are referral programs. And feel free to look them up and check them out, but you have got to stack, okay? You need at least 2 from each category to really keep rocking and rolling and exponentially grow. And if it seems overwhelming, guess what? 1% change at a time. We've had that conversation before this year. You change 1% at a time. You do not have to do this all at one time. Do one thing a week, do one thing a month. Where will you be in a year with that? Okay, you can do this. I'm excited for you guys. And if you have any questions, you know where to find me. You can email me at jennaharris@jpar.com, jennaharris@jpar.com. And I'm really excited to see what you guys do with this. And I have a couple things in the chat. Okay, awesome. So I'm excited to see where we go with this and excited to see how you guys are going to start stacking your leads for success. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Dusty. Bye, Serena. Bye, Wendy. Bye, my Facebook people. I love you all so much and appreciate you. And I will see you next week for one of the other legs of the 5 things you need to be successful.